Hi, my name's Aaron Curry, and today I'm going to be showing you how to choose the perfect property investment strategy for you, the perfect one, the one that's right for you based on what you want to achieve and the time, money, and experience that you're starting with. Once you know the perfect property and strategy specifically for you, then I'll show you the safest way to build a property portfolio in 2021. So today's video is the third in a four-part series that shows you how to make 2021 the year when you built a financial fortress that protects you and your family for generations to come. In the first video, I showed you how to create a 1-3-5 plan to achieve your 2021 property goals. A 1-3-5 plan turns your dreams into a target you can see. You know that you can't hit a target if you can't see it. You know you can't hit a target if you don't know what it is, which is why it's critical that you create a crystal clear picture of what you want to achieve and a crystal clear picture that puts a smile on your face every time you look at it and motivates you to take action. And a 1-3-5 plan is much more powerful than just writing down your goals or just creating a picture of what you want to achieve. Why is it more powerful? Because it puts a plan in place to achieve your goals and some specific actions that you need to take. In other words, it gives you a simple blueprint to achieve all of your goals. Imagine if you could have a simple blueprint that took you from where you are right now to getting financially free or wherever it is you want to be in 12 months, 24 months time, and you had a simple blueprint that you knew if you followed it, you would achieve that financial freedom. That is what a 1-3-5 plan gives you. So if you haven't seen that first video, you should pause this video right now and go watch the first video in this sequence. It's somewhere around here, maybe off to this side. Go click and watch that first video. In the second video, I showed you the safest way to build a property portfolio in 2021. I showed you my safe, secure portfolio plan and the 10 key areas that you need to master to an 8, 9, or 10 out of 10 to achieve your goal. The scary truth about these 10 key areas is there's just 1 or 2 of them are missing. I can virtually guarantee you that you will not achieve your property goals. That means if you've got the desire to change your life, you've got the time and the money to build a property portfolio, and you don't have the other key skills, you're virtually guaranteed to fail. You see, I had those 3 things at the start of my property journey. I had the desire, I had the time, I had the money from somebody else, and my first 10 houses were a disaster. It was only when I gained all the 10 core skills that my property portfolio gave me the passive income that I always wanted. So if you haven't watched the second video in the series, again, you need to pause this video and go and watch it right now. Again, you just need to click on the link somewhere around here to go and do that. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to choose the perfect property investment strategy for you and how to focus on it specifically until you are successful. You see, jumping from one exciting strategy to another will keep you busy, but it won't give you meaningful results. Most likely it'll lead to overwhelm, confusion, and nothing to show for your efforts. I call it jack of all trades, master of none. This is why you need to know with rock solid confidence the perfect property strategy for you, that you've chosen the right one. And then you lock onto it with laser focus until you achieve your goals. This makes sense, I'm sure. So I'm going to be showing you how to choose the perfect strategy for you and how to lock onto it with laser focus so you can enjoy quick results. Now, before we dive into it, and I show you how to choose the perfect property strategy for you, please let me just explain why the video quality is not quite what I'd like it to be. My family and I, as I record this, are self-isolating. Unfortunately, someone we know has received a positive COVID test, and my wife had some contact with them. So fortunately, they're doing absolutely fine, and we're doing absolutely fine. There's no positive tests here, but it does mean I can't get together with my videographer. We're still self-isolating. So instead, it's just me with my webcam and my laptop. So if the information and the learning is more important to you than the video quality, you'll love what I'm going to share with you in this video series. You see, I'm going to be showing you the safest way to build a property portfolio at the most profitable time in over a decade, so you can pick up discounts of £15,000 or £20,000 off your next property purchase. In the second video, I showed you how I created my safe, secure portfolio plan and the 10 areas that you need to master to achieve your property goals. I told you about the process of interviewing 50 successful property investors that were each making at least £100,000 a year consistently from property. And I discovered by interviewing them, all of them were using, out of the hundreds of strategies out there, just one of 5 core strategies. Out of the hundreds of strategies out there, the most successful investors are using just 5 core strategies. So it makes sense for you to learn what the 5 are and just plug in and choose one. So today I'm going to show you what the 5 are, and I'm going to help you choose the perfect strategy for you based on your goals, the time, money, and experience that you personally have. This isn't one size fits all. You need to know which strategy is best for you, and at the end of today's video, you're going to know that. As you'll discover, some strategies are what I call job strategies. A job strategy is where you trade time for the extra income. Some people say, I've got plenty of time, I'm happy to do that. I'm totally up for that, not a problem. Other people say, are you crazy? I'm already flat out busy with my job at work or my business. I'm flat out busy with the kids at home. The last thing I want to do is create an extra job. So if you know whether you're up for a job or you know whether the last thing you want is a job, that's great, whichever of those 2 outcomes it is, because you will know what's best for you and your situation. Unfortunately, many property investors don't consider this at the start of their journey. So they get 1, 2, or 3 houses in before they know it. They've created a second job because they've bought job strategy houses. And actually, it's not what they wanted. With a job strategy, every additional house you buy needs more of your time. With an investment strategy, additional houses take no more of your time, or very, very, very little more time. That's what makes it a passive investment, an investment you don't need to manage. You don't need to manage yourself. So I'm going to talk you through these 5 core strategies. I'm going to teach you which are the job strategies and which are the investment strategies, and you can decide which strategy is best for your personal situation based on your circumstance and where you are in life right now. In video 1 or 2, I talked about the start of my property journey and why I ran into some really expensive problems. I was putting the time and effort in, and my next door neighbor, Mark, he was putting in the money, but neither of us had the experience, so we ran into problems. Problems that cost us hundreds of pounds, thousands of pounds, and in a couple of cases, tens of thousands of pounds. I don't want you to do that. So just before we dive in, let me explain what happened when me and Mark started our property investment journey and the difference between the job strategy and investment strategy for the 2 of us. You see, in the beginning, I was putting the time and the effort in. So that was me having the job. Make sense? Mark was putting the money in. That was him providing the money. He was the investor. I was job, he was investor. Now, here's the thing. When we fast forwarded a little while and we got to being financially free, where literally we were creating the income that we needed to be able to give up our jobs. And realistically, that was 7 great properties. We bought 10 bad ones, duffers, as I would say in Yorkshire's term, 10 not very good properties, but we bought 7 great ones. Once I committed to mastery, that got us financially free. And at that point, if we wanted, we could quit our jobs and live off the income and the profits. At that point, I was in my mid-30s. I didn't want to quit my job. I was loving what I was doing. I wanted to keep growing things. I love growing things. I love business. So I didn't want to quit my job. But Mark did. He wanted to give up his job. He was working as a printer, not enjoying his job at all, working in a factory, different shifts, etc. So to cut a long story short, Mark gets to a point where he wants to quit his job, but he's happy to look after the investment properties. He's happy to put his time and effort into that. He wants the job strategy now. He wants to do it as a job. I'm over the moon because I'm like, that's amazing, because now I can stop putting my time into this and I can become the investor. So we switch roles. I want you to get, there's no right or wrong here. There's what's right for you personally, but there's no right or wrong. It was right for him to be an investor at the beginning, but later on, he wanted to have a job strategy. It was right for me to have the job strategy at the beginning, otherwise I couldn't have done it without Mark's money, but it was right for me to switch to an investor strategy later on. The thing I want you to realize is we were lucky, we were both involved. If you start with a job strategy, which we did as a couple, we still had a job strategy when we got financially free. There was still a job to do. Why was that? Because we'd done job strategy. Me and Mark at that point, well, not at that point, but me and Mark have between us 72 investment properties, 72, okay? And across those 72, 5 of them, just 5, are houses of multiple occupation called HMOs, okay? 5 of them. 67 of them are buy-to-lets. The 5 HMOs are within 3 miles drive of Mark's front door. The 67 buy-to-lets are all over the country. They're situated all over the country, okay? At the end of each tax year, the accountant asks us to tell him roughly how Mark has split his time. He spends about 25 hours a week looking after these properties, these 72 properties. They ask him how he split his time. On average, 60% of his time is spent looking after the 5 HMOs. 60% of his time, that's 15 hours a week. And just 10 hours a week, and he didn't need to spend that really, we could outsource it to agents, but he likes to do it, looking after 67 buy-to-lets that are all over the country. What's the point I'm making? The point I'm making, if we chose houses of multiple occupation at the beginning, a job strategy, what you don't just have it at the beginning, you have it for life. We're 20 years in now of having those properties, and we still have HMOs, and it's still a job strategy. I'm blessed because Mark does it. But if you go for a job strategy today to get more cash flow today, that might be cool, but remember you'll have the job strategy for life. And I just wanted you to get that and understand that. So you see, 20 years on, the job strategy still takes a lot of time to manage. I'm going to show you now the 5 core strategies and give you the pros and cons of each one so you can decide which is the perfect investment strategy for you. Now, the best way to teach this is using a flip chart. So I'm going to cut to a previous training that was recorded with my videographer with a flip chart so you can see exactly how this works. Let's go have a look.
So, let's get stuck in and learn about these 5 core strategies. Success leaves clues. These people that consistently make 100K plus a year use one of just 5 strategies. So you may as well choose the right one for you. And let's understand which ones are investor strategies and which ones are job strategies. Now, the best way to teach this is again to use the flip chart. So what we'll do is we'll go over to the flip chart, we'll get the flip chart out, and I'll take you through each strategy and help you understand it in a little bit of detail. When I teach this on my mentorship program, by the way, there's a couple of days on each strategy. Whichever strategy you choose, you need to learn in detail. You need to learn the ins and the outs of it. So don't watch this video and then go and do your strategy and go, Aaron taught me it. This is just to help you choose the right one to start with. Then you can do the deep dive, get the mastery that I spoke about in video 2. You can get the mastery to learn the video in detail. But at least if I teach you the 5, you can choose the one that suits your resources, and then you can commit to mastery in that area and go and master this particular one. So let's go over to the flip chart and let's get dove in and learn about this in some more detail. Okay, so let's put up an image that shows you these 5 core areas, and let's start with the first one. The first one is what I call family let, often called buy-to-let. So let's have a look at the flip chart and see what we mean by family let. A family let is a property, okay? It's a 3-4 bedroom house. It's not 1 bedroom or 2 bedroom. It's not an apartment or flat. I'll cover that later on in the video series why I say that, okay? It must be a 3-4 bedroom house, and it has a family living in the property. So they're on 1 tenancy agreement, 1 family living in the property, okay? Now, family let, this traditional model, is what I call an investor strategy, okay? Investor strategy. Now, why do I say that? Well, when you're being an investor, let's imagine you were going to invest in the stock market. And I said to you, well, I come from Yorkshire originally, so I only ever buy Morrison's stocks and shares because they're based in Yorkshire, so I'm going to buy Yorkshire stocks and shares. Now, if I told you that was an investment strategy, you'd think I was crazy. You'd say, is that what you base it on, where you come from? That's the company you invest in? What you do when you invest in the stock market, Aaron, is you make sure you buy the best possible stock and share to get the best possible return. And you'd be right. So when I invest in the stock market, that's exactly what I do. And what I'm doing, I'm backing the expert team. I haven't taught that to you yet, but it's part of the subsections of plan. I'm backing the expert team that I believe are going to outperform the market to make my investment grow. And in the stock market, that's the board of directors, isn't it? If I invest in Marks and Spencer shares, I'm backing that board of directors to outperform what the market believes they'll do. And if it does, my share will go up in value and I'll make money, okay? I don't then go turn up to run the investment myself. It's an investment. I trust the board of directors to run it. Family-let is exactly the same. If you get a world-class team of letting agents, solicitors, mortgage brokers, accountants, tradespeople, I want the best return on investment. It doesn't need to be local to me. Why do so many people, it makes sense in the stock market, but so many people say, I'm just going to buy local. Why? So I can drive past it, so I can see it. Why? You don't drive past Marks and Spencer's head office to see that's still there. Okay? I want the best return. I don't care if it's 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles away. I want an expert team in place managing everything, and I want to invest in a town or city that gives me the very best return. And again, later on in the video series, I'll teach you exactly how to choose those towns and cities and even those streets that you're going to buy those properties on. Okay? So this is an investor strategy, one that you can get multiple properties, but because everyone else is doing the work, you get increased returns, but you don't need to put more time in. Okay, so that's family-led. What's the second one? Let's go back to the image. You can see the second one coming up now is house of multiple occupation, often called HMO. So let's have a look on the flip chart now at HMO. And this is a bit generic, but it will teach the point for now so you get it. Let's imagine we've got an HMO. Just to make sure we're all on the same page, let's assume we've got a 5-bedroom house of multiple occupation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each person has their own bedroom, but these people will share a lounge, they'll share a kitchen, and they'll maybe share a bathroom. But they've all got their own bedrooms. And sometimes those bedrooms have locks on the doors, sometimes they don't. And there's lots of different types of HMOs, but this just gives you a feel. Now, there are 3 main tenant types for an HMO. You have students, you have young professionals, so your 20 to 30-year-olds who don't want to live at home anymore but need to live somewhere, and you have what I call benefits tenants. And again, there's lots of different types, but these are your most common 3 types. Now, the first tip that I'll give you if you're going to do HMOs is don't mix your tenant types. When I started out, we put students in with young professionals. We say, oh, they're the same age, they'll get on. The students up partying until 4 in the morning, and the young professionals getting up at 6 a.m. for their new job. That does not go down well, okay? So pick a tenant type and stick rigorously to it, okay? And just further to that, if you're picking students, which used to 10, 15, 20 years ago was a fantastic strategy, guess what the universities are doing now? They're businesses now. They're going, do you know what? If we build a big block, we can put all the students in it. So towns and cities like Leeds, for example, you've got loads and loads of HMOs that are now sat empty because the university has built a block and people are going in it. So be really, really careful that you study this, you get mastery, you get the right teacher to teach you this stuff, and you copy the right teacher, you don't buy the wrong investment that loses you money instead of makes you money, okay? But students, young professionals and benefits all work and work really well in the right marketplaces, in the right towns and cities. How do the finances work on an HMO? Well, an HMO, the first property, roughly, this is just to give you a rough feel, pays for the mortgage. So that covers the mortgage when you rent the first room. The second room here is going to pay for the bills. So your council tax, for example, your gas, your electric, your broadband. When you've got a HMO, you as the landlord are responsible for paying for those. Your third room being rented will cover the maintenance. Now your maintenance isn't massive, But it is more than a family-let property. You've got 5 moving parts here who all don't know each other. They cause more damage than just having a family in a property. So the 3rd room being rented pays for the maintenance. When you get the 4th room rented, you're making the same profit as a family let. Okay? So you may as well just have a family let if you're just going to rent 4 of the 5 rooms. The sweet spot with an HMO is this 5th room. When you get this 5th room rented as well, you're now making extra profit. You're making more cash flow today than if you had a family let property. However, this is a job strategy. What I mean by that is you're going to have to give up your extra time to manage this HMO. Now, if you've got a job strategy, an investor strategy, you want it wherever it is in the country that's going to get you the best return. With a job strategy, it would be crazy to have a job that's 150 miles away. So if you're going to go for a job strategy, you want it to be local. This HMO needs to be close by, somewhere local to you. But you need to put the time and effort in. You need to trade your time for the extra money that you'll get from that 5th room. And the time that you're putting in is probably 3 to 5 hours per week per HMO. Okay, so rough science. You might have 2 months where nothing happens, but then there's loads of work or loads of damage and loads to do in month 3. But on average, 3 to 5 hours per week per property. And we know that Mark's been doing it for 2 decades. He's brilliant at doing it and still has to put that effort in. Okay, so people will always say to me, you know, if you could speak to me now, you say, well, some of you say, well, I get what you're saying, but why can't I just have this managed by somebody else, just like you do with a family lets, have someone else manage it? Well, here's the challenge. The top letting agents in the UK right now for HMO, what are they charging? 14 to 16% plus VAT to manage your property. If you're paying them 14 to 16% plus VAT, that's nearly 20%. That's all your profit gone from the 5th room to pay for them. You're back to family let profits. People then say to me, oh, but I've got a letting agent, they only charge 10% to manage an HMO, or 10% plus VAT. Can't I use them? There's a couple of things to say on that. I've got a letting agency with just about 1,000 properties that we manage in that now. And in that letting agency, we tried out HMOs at the beginning. And we realised how much work it was. You can't make money at 10%. In fact, you lose money if you only charge 10% as a letting agent. So you're either choosing a novice letting agent that doesn't realise yet that they will lose money doing it at that rate, and we gave up doing HMOs because it was so much work, or you're choosing a letting agent that will do this. They'll work really hard to rent your first 3 or 4 rooms because they're advertising 5 at the same time. They'll work really hard to get those rented. But when it comes to the crunch, do I rent room number 5 or do I go rent this house over here for $1,000 a month that will make me a lot more commission? Where will they naturally put their energy? They're going to work harder on this house over here. So you end up with 4 or 4.5 rooms tenanted. Then you pay the 10%, which is half a room. Again, you've just lost the profit out of room number 5. So HMOs does work. Please understand, I'm not saying don't do HMOs, but if you do it, you need to understand you need to put the time in. You need to do it locally for you. You'll get more income, but you're going to have to trade your time. Now, by the way, let's assume you build a portfolio of HMOs today. And then we meet again in 10 years and you go, yeah, I'm financially free. I've been able to give up my job. I say, where's your income come from? And you say, the HMOs. I say, great, can you go on holiday for 5 years? You go, no, I need to manage the HMOs. Oh, so you're not financially free. You've just created a different type of job. Yeah. Okay. Now that might be cool with you. Some people say, I'll do a job strategy now to get out of my current job, and I want a job strategy at the end. I'm going to enjoy doing property at the end, and I'm happy to trade my time. I'll be bored if I do nothing. Other people are like, are you kidding me? I need to quit my job, never have to work again. I need to go sit on a beach. And all people are different. It's what's important to you. So you need to decide in the next 6 to 12 months, how much time are you going to put into this? How much time are you personally going to commit to getting yourself to a financial position where you and your family are protected? Will it be 1 hour a week, 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week? That's your choice. But commit to a time right now. What can you consistently put in? Not just this week and then you forget about it next week, but consistently week after week after week. And then there's a second decision to make. When you get financially free, If you did the earlier videos in the sequence, you've drawn a picture of what that looks like. Not a physical picture, but you've written down what that looks like. When you get there, how many hours a week are you going to do then? Will that be a job strategy or an investor strategy that you need then? Because if it's less than 3 hours a week, you need to be picking investor strategy. If you're happy to do more than 3 hours a week, that's a job. So you can have job strategy. Okay? So I hope this is making sense. There's 2 decisions to make there. We'll come back to those later. So we've taught family let, we've taught HMOs. What's the third one? Let's get this up. Let's get the slide up so you can see. The third one is rent to rent. Now, what does that mean? Let's go back to the flip chart and have a look at this. So you've got different types of rent to strategies. You've got rent to HMO, rent to serviced accommodation, and rent to holiday let. Now, I don't have time right now to teach all 3, but what I can do, let's look at rent to HMO. So what is rent to HMO, okay? Well, rent to HMO is where you go find a fed-up landlord, somebody who's fed up of renting their property. And they've got a property, in a perfect world, it's already an HMO. But if not, it's one that you can easily convert to turn into an HMO property, okay? And they might have it up to rent for £1,000 a month. And you say, hey, I can solve your problems. I know you're fed up of being a landlord. I'll rent your property from you, and I want to rent it for 5 years. That's amazing. You say, because it's going to be 5 years, I'm going to offer you £900 a month, let's say, and you want that number as low as you can get it. But I'm going to offer you £900 a month to rent the property. You give them a £900 deposit, first month's rent of £900, and let's say you need to spend £3,000 getting this property ready to be an HMO. You might need a license or fire doors or what have you. Hopefully it's already one. So let's say, easy numbers for me, you've spent £5,000, but you've got a property that you've got control of that you're now going to rent out. And you're going to rent it out as an HMO. So you're going to rent it out by the room. You rent your 5 rooms out for £500 a month. So now coming in is £2,500. You need to get permission from this landlord that you're going to do this, of course. Again, this video doesn't teach you everything. You need the structure, you need the teaching, but you get permission and then you rent it out and you've got £2,500 coming in. You have to pay the maintenance on the property, okay? So let's say that's £350. You have to pay the bills, the council tax, the other bills, another £350. You're left with £1,800 coming in. You pay the other landlords £900, and in the middle, you've got £900 per month of profit. Times that by 12, you're on £10,000 a year for a property that you don't even own. And if we had a room full of people, I said, who'd like £10,000 a year from a property you don't even own? Your hand would be going up right now. And then if I said, who'd like 3 of those? Your hand would definitely be going up. Okay? Now, if you're someone who wants to quit your job as soon as possible, some of you will love your job. I love what I do. But if you want to quit your job as soon as possible, then this rent-to strategy can be a way to get yourself out of the rat race. But there is a challenge with it. Who owns the asset? The landlord still owns the asset, not you. So when the market goes up in value, you don't benefit from that. This is a great cash flow strategy. It creates you cash today. It's a job strategy because you're in effect managing an HMO. It's a job strategy that creates you cash today, but it won't look after you and create the fortress for the long term. It can give you a short-term fortress though, and it'll also, alternate to that or alongside that, it can give you the ability to quit a job if you hate it, and then you start to build other strategy that will get you the long-term owning of the asset and the long-term financial fortress for yourself. Okay? So this is rent to, and you can do rent to HMO, you can do rent to serviced accommodation, you can do rent to holiday let, etc. Okay? In this current market right now today, people are not going on holiday, we're trapped in our houses. People are not going and staying in a booking.com or an Airbnb property, which is serviced accommodation, because they're trapped in their houses. But guess what? Once we can all get out again, people are going to want to do that a lot. People are going to want to get out. Okay? So this is rent to strategy. Let's have a look now at the fourth strategy. So if we put the slide back up, you can see on the slide that the fourth strategy is holiday let stroke serviced accommodation. So let's get the flip chart up and just talk you through these. The first thing with holiday let, and this might sound obvious, do not buy a holiday let where people do not want to go on holiday. And I know that sounds obvious. You're sat there in the comfort of your own home. Who would ever think to do that? About 2-3 years ago, I'm in Brents Cross, North London. I've just done an event with 100 people. It's lunchtime. And this guy comes up to me and he is furious. He's like, Aaron, I can't believe you're teaching holiday lets. And there's spit coming out. He's furious. I'm like, wow, you've obviously had some experience of this. Where's your holiday let? What's gone on? He says, I've got a holiday let, it doesn't work. I said, well, where is it? He goes, Dartford. Now, if you're not from London, Dartford's on the M25 at the docks. You do not want to go on holiday on the M25 at the docks. Now, you might have laughed at that. Is this an intelligent guy? Yes. Is he articulate? Yes. Is he an action taker? Yes. He's nearly there. But for the sake of a skill set or two, he's totally failed and is miserable financially instead of massive success. And we can all look in for the outside and laugh, but will we make mistakes like that if we don't know what we're doing? Absolutely. Absolutely. So let's talk holiday lets. Let's assume you're going to get the holiday let where people want to go on holiday. Let's look at this. When you look at a holiday let, there is a magic sweet spot in the UK right now. So let me draw this for you. When you look at holiday lets, it's how many people can sleep there, not the number of bedrooms, but how many it sleeps. And when you look at the financial return you get and the money you put in, if this property sleeps 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 people, the financial return is almost pro rata with the number of people that sleep there. It goes up like this. But there is a magic sweet spot that sleeps 16 to 18. This graph suddenly goes like this. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable right now. Now, why is that? Why in the UK does it go like that? Well, the baby boomers who used to go on holiday to Egypt, Tunisia, Turkey, don't want to go to those places anymore. So what do? They say, hey, kids, grandkids, we'll hire somewhere in the UK. Let's all go away together and spend some family time together. And is there many properties of that size around? Not that many, but there's all these people that want to have that type of holiday. You probably or possibly have had a holiday like that with your extended family. And because of that, this is crazy returns. Let me give you some examples. This is a big property. This is probably an 8-bedroom property to sleep 16 people. It's got a dining table in it that 16 people can sit at. That's a big dining room. You've got 2 lounges so that everybody can sit down in the lounges. So this is a big property. This is a really big property. But I'll give you an example property, one that we bought recently. Our spend for that property was about £300,000, bought and refurbished. So our deposit in that, we used other strategies, we got all our money back out. Okay, I can teach you about them later. But let's assume our deposit for that was a 25% deposit. So we've put a £75,000 deposit down, and we've spent £25,000 kitting the property out. So we've spent £100,000. That's not a small amount, but we've spent £100,000. But that property that we spent £100,000 on, what's the rental income we're getting from it? And we've got a few of these in Scarborough. £95,000 per annum income from that one property coming in. 95,000. Now, a holiday let is not as simple as that just goes in the bank. We use a marketing company to fill those rooms, to sell the property. I use Sykes Cottages. They're nothing to do with me personally, but they're brilliant at this. They take about 20% cut for doing it. Okay? They're taking, let's say, £20,000. It's a bit less than that for doing it for me. Then I'm paying my cleaners who have to clean up after these 16 people every week. I'm paying for maintenance issues. I'm paying for wear and tear for the hot tub that we put there, etc. The profit that we're making is circa £30,000 per property. £30,000. On a bad year, we might make 25,000. £30,000 of property with a £100,000 investment. You know, if I said, room full of people who'd like £30,000 a year from one property, a load of hands are going to go up right now. Okay? So this is holiday lets. This is holiday lets. This is definitely a job strategy. Job. You're having to trade your time and put your effort in to look after this. People say, can't you outsource that? Can't you get cleaners? Well, if it's Friday afternoon and 16 people are just about to arrive for their summer holidays and your cleaner turns in sick, you're going to have to leave work and get there and clean that property. Or they just don't bother turning up at all. You're going to have to sort it. It's normally, again, 3 to 5 hours a week. 3 to 5 hours per week to do a holiday let strategy. Now, I'm going to talk to you later on in my video webinars. I'm going to talk to you about joint venturing with other people, getting other people to put their money into this. Right now, in this economic climate we're in, they've slashed the base rate to 0.1%, okay? Or it can't go much lower, can it? But they've slashed that base rate. People with savings they're earning nothing. People who had their money in the stock market have got their money out if they could. They're earning nothing in the stock market. Where do they put that money? Just imagine for a moment you have £100,000 and I came to you and I said, look, with your £100,000, here's what we can do. We can buy a holiday let property. You put your 100k in. We'll buy the property in your name. So if I run off, it's your house, not mine. I'll do all the work and I'll set everything up. You put the 100k in, but I set everything up. And we'll just split the profits. So you, investor, of the 30,000 will get £15,000 a year, and I will get £15,000 per year. Imagine if you had 100k and you were going to be earning £100 in interest each year, that's it, okay? Or you've got 100k in equity, it's earning you nothing. Would you be interested potentially, show of hands, the whole room puts their hand up, in having £15,000 a year, a 15% return on your money, and it's backed by you owning the property. So if I disappear, you can have all the income. I'm not disappearing. You'd be interested. You'd be interested. If I then said, by the way, this is a 300k property. If the market goes up next year, and I know it's not going to go up in this next year or two, but in general underlying principles, it will always go up. The last 85 years, with all the crashes, all the falls, it's gone up on average 7.9% a year. But let's say it just went up 5%. If this property goes up 5%, 300k, 5% increase, 15k, as well as your 7.5k, as well as your 15k investor, you'll have 7,500 of equity growth. So you're going to be on 22,500 instead of £100. Do you think it's possible, if you learnt the skill set to just have that conversation with friends or family that you love and care for and they're not getting any interest, or other people you've never even met yet, and you learnt just the skill set to buy a holiday let and set it up properly in the right place, in the right way, do you think other people might be interested? Yes, you would be if you had that money. So they will be. And you make £22,500 a year from one. By the way, do you think you could find 5 of those other people? Or one person that says, can I do it? By the way, I've got some more money. Can I do another one? And you end up with 2, 3, 4, 5 of these things. Now, I can actually teach you, if you went to those people and you said, this is £45,000 a year. Some people actually would just be delighted to earn 5% a year. You could say to them, you can have the security of the house if I don't pay you back, but I'll pay you £5,000 a year in interest. You don't even have to worry about what's going on in the property. You get £5,000 every year. They'll be overjoyed. Yeah, this is brilliant. You now get to keep £40,000 a year from one single property. Okay? This is holiday lets. Now, that one sounds more exciting than the others, but it's a bigger investment, it's more money to find, and I've started to teach a bit of what I call be your own bank, raising money from other people, which is a whole separate teaching piece. But I just want to give you a flavour of how holiday lets work, but it's definitely a job strategy. Okay. Now we're running out of time on this video. I'm very briefly going to cover service accommodation before we wrap up. So service accommodation, what is that? With service accommodation, booking.com for example, Airbnb, you want to go stay somewhere in a room or a house and you want to go stay there for a little while. And what most people think of is them going as a visitor somewhere, them being a tourist. So if you take the 7 days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, people think, I need to pick somewhere where tourists are going to go. Well, here's the thing. Tourists is one of 12 different types of people that stay in a booking.com property. You need a property that's not going to just rent at the weekend, it needs to rent during the week as well. You need a property really that's targeted for corporate clients. Somebody that is building the road somewhere. How long does it take to build the road? 4 months to do the road works. Does that person come from the local town? No, they're shipped in from outside and they stay there for the week. So instead of them putting 4 people in a hotel as a company and paying £100 a night for each one, £400 a night, instead they put them in your property, your ideally totally different type of property, 2-bed property that has a sofa bed, which means I can now sleep 6, or if people are a bit more flush, it can sleep 3, and they pay £120 a night instead of £400 a night, and they stay in your service accommodation property. But you're now getting £120 a night for your 2-bedroom property. And for a week, that's now £840. And by the way, when they arrive and you show them around the first time, you say, how long are you here for? 4 months. Oh, would you like to stay here for the whole 4 months? And they go, yeah. And you just took 16 times that. You just took a £14,000 booking for 4 months for your 2-bedroom property. Okay? So you need to be able to attract all 12 types of stayer to your booking.com properties and your Airbnb type properties. But this can be a phenomenal strategy for people that already own property and you might switch to service accommodation. Don't do it today. No one's going anywhere today. But in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, when we're allowed back out, people are going to be desperate to go. Great strategy. Or you can do rent to SA, which I'm not covering now, but you can go rent this property from someone else and pay them the going rent, and then you serve for service accommodation it out. Typically, the profit you'll make on a property like this is £1,000 per month. Times that by 12, you're on 12k per annum. Who'd like 12k per annum from one property? Okay, this is a job strategy. You're going to trade your time again. People are moving in this day, they're moving out, and another one in this day, they're moving in and out. You're going to trade your time. You're dealing with bookings, you're dealing with... It's time. Again, 3 to 5 hours per week, per property. Okay. So, what's the 5th strategy? If I put the image back up, the 5th strategy is options. Now, we've run out of time on this video to teach that in any detail, but that's the 5th one, and we can cover that with you later on. Okay. I want to finish off this video with just talking to you about the jet fuel, the gasoline that speeds up this process. And that gasoline is joint venturing with other people. Getting other people that have got a skill or a resource that you don't have and putting the two together. If I've got loads of time and you've got loads of money and we put the two together, we can go a lot further. If I've got loads of money but no time, but you've got the time and we put the two together, we can go a lot further. Right now, you'll have probably no clue how to get other people with money to put their money with you. You'll be nervous of it. You'll be fearful of it. But those people are suffering right now. Some people live off their interest from their savings. It's gone. Those people are in pain right now. They're wondering how long these rates are going to be low. It's great for people borrowing money. It's horrific for people that are sat with savings. Those people have money in the stock market. They've just seen that tank. If they're due to retire soon, or they're already retired, they have no recovery time left. You owe it to them to go out and help them. If you can just master the skill of talking to them and caring for them, joint venturing with someone with money is not about ripping them off. It's about finding a way to help them win and you win at the same time. And if we can help the people that have got the money, and then we can help the people we talked about in video 1, the builders that are going to go bust if they can't sell these houses, and they're happy to sell at a discount to just get them sold and keep everybody going. Or the people that are going to be stuck in isolation and decide they don't like each other very much anymore and going to want to separate, and there's going to be more and more of that as we know. And those people to be able to move on with their lives. Or the people that are in financial difficulty, which won't be as many as we think, I'm praying, but help those people to move on with their lives. If we can learn the skill set to help them, and we can make some money in between, doesn't that help everybody? They're the skill sets you need to learn. So here's the actions that I suggest you take. I suggest that you reflect right now, in this next 3 to 6 to 12 months, how much time per week can you consistently commit to this? Not just do it for 1 week, but consistently. And don't overcommit. Don't say you're going to do 20 hours if you haven't got 20 hours. It's just not going to happen. But it's the consistency. When you go to the gym, it's not 1 week of exercise and then 3 weeks of doing nothing. It's better to do less exercise more often and be consistent. So what can you commit to and put in the diary? How important is getting this sorted for you? How much time were you putting in before now to this? You know, you work 40 hours in your job, but you put 2 hours a week into your financial freedom and your financial security and your financial fortress. I'm not saying it has to be more than 2 hours, but choose what it is, commit to it and marry that and really commit to it. The second thing is, once you're financially free, how much time do you want to put in then? Do you want to be a job strategy then or an investor strategy? And then thirdly, choose your strategy. Choose which strategy is the right strategy for you. Okay, just to finish this teaching piece off, if we go back to the investor strategy, family let at the beginning, you know, some of you will be sat there going, but I've got a buy-to-let already and it's making me £200 a month, and if I get a big maintenance bill, it makes me nothing or next to nothing. You know, or some of you might have looked at that and gone, they only make £100, £200 a month. How does that work? I'm going to need thousands of them to get financially free. Okay, here's the truth of it. You actually need, if you want to be on 50k per annum for the rest of your life, virtually tax-free, you only need 7 or 8 of these babies, 7 or 8 of these properties. And the reason for that is, you will get me if I say, the property market, you buy a couple of houses, the property market goes up in value. When it goes up in value, you will refinance those properties to 75% of the new value. So they're worth 100k each, they go up to be worth 120k each. You go, I'll take my mortgage up, maybe 15,000 on each one, and draw that money back out. That gives you 30,000 back in your pocket. That's enough to buy property number 3. Now you've got 3 houses going up, they don't need to go up 20% now, they only need to go up 13%. That gives you enough to buy property number 4. Then they go up 10%, gives you enough to buy number 5. 5 only go up 8%, gives you enough to buy number 6. It gets faster and faster and faster. Start now. Start right now. Okay? Now, once you've grown it to the size you want it, you've got 7 or 8, and they go up in value, let's say just 5%. They go up in value just 5%, and you can just release 5,000 or 6,000 on each one. So you've got 8 of them. You release 6,000 on each one. 48,000 back in your hands to buy another house. You go, I've got enough houses, Aaron. 8's enough for me. I go, cool. £48,000. Why don't you quit your job and live off it? Why don't you go on a holiday with it? Why don't you buy a new car with it? By the way, next year, you'll be able to release £48,000. Inflation proofed, it'll be 49 and a bit. The year after, it'll be 52. It's going to go up with inflation. And I'm going to show you in my next video some more detail on this so you really understand it, because I know I'm covering this fast for you now. Okay? But this is how professionals take their profits. You need 7, 8 or 9 and you'll be on 50k per annum. If you want 100k per annum, you might need 15 or 16 at the moment. That sounds like a lot. But I just showed you, you only have to buy the first 3 or 4. It speeds up, it speeds. By the time you get to 12, you're buying 2 a year, all with no extra money. They're just paying for themselves. Okay? So that leverage, that ability to use leverage, you can't have that in the stock market, you can't have that in a bank account, you get that in property investment. And the banks aren't stupid lending you this money. They know there's nothing as safe as houses, as they would say. They're happy to lend you that money because they know their money is safe. The rents are paying for the debt and it's making you money on top. How cool is that? If somebody else pays for it and it makes you money, how much debt would you like? As much as possible, please. Okay? If someone else pays for it and it makes you money, it has to meet those 2 rules. Now, final piece. The image I showed you, there was 5 different strategies. The gasoline, the jet fuel to really speed this up is joint venturing with other people. Right now, as I've said, there are people out there who had savings and they were hoping to live off the interest. They might be retired right now. They were living off the interest. The base rate's gone through the floor. That money's not there. they are in a really, really bad spot, really bad position. People with equity in their houses earning them nothing. People with savings earning them nothing. They look at the stock market, it's crashing, they don't want to put their money there. These people are in a desperate position and they need your help. If you can master this, if you can learn to do this properly and learn to speak to them intelligently about this, they would love for you to make them some more money. Even 3% or 5%, they'll be over the moon as long as their money stays safe. And you can do that with family. I showed you, excitingly how to do it with other stuff. It's exciting doing it here as well. You can take that 100K, 3 deposits, and buy 3 houses that then go up in value. You get a 4th, a 5th, a 6th, and if you get to 16, half of theirs, you're both on 50K a year because they put 100K in 10 years ago. That's going to be amazing for them and amazing for you. Or you just pay them interest on it along the way and give them that certainty, and you end up with a portfolio that's making you 100K a year and you're paying them 5K in interest for the privilege of borrowing their money. By the way, once you learn this skill once and you use it with one person, you've got the skill for life, haven't you? When you learnt to write, you didn't have to learn it again each year. You learnt to write, you can do it forever. It's the same with investing. It's the same with learning about money. Once you've learned it once, you can use it forever.
Now that you know the 5 safest property investment strategies, I hope you can see the perfect strategy for you. Remember, the perfect strategy is the one that supports your vision and your goals. So if you want to create a passive income, you need to choose buy to let or holiday let. If you want cash flow today and you're happy to invest more of your time, then strategies like house of multiple occupation and serviced accommodation will be the ones for you. If you're starting out with no money today, you might choose the rent to strategies, rent to serviced accommodation, for example. You might choose the option strategy. You need to choose the right strategy for you. Now, the content in this video series all fits together to help you make 2021 the year when you build a financial fortress that protects you and your family for generations to come. So if you made the mastery commitment to yourself in the second video and you've now chosen the perfect property investment strategy for you, now you need to combine the mastery commitment with the perfect strategy. That means you need to commit to mastering that strategy, and you'll be able to make 2021 the year when you build a financial fortress that protects your family for generations to come. The next step of mastery is to watch video 4 in this 4 video series. And if you haven't done it yet, if you cheated, you need to go back and watch videos 1 and 2. In video 4, I'm going to show you how to buy houses that rent like hotcakes. Would that be useful? And grab hold of an overlooked property trend so you get quadruple the profits from the same investment that somebody else would make. So if you'd like to make a lot more profit by choosing the right house to buy and a house that's going to rent like hotcakes, then you'll love the next video that's arriving in your inbox in the next couple of days. So thanks for watching this video today, and I'll see you in a couple of days. Until then, look after yourself and the people you love, invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom, make it happen. I'll speak to you soon. Thank you.